Hey everybody, I'm going to go over the program called Random Math. Now, for this program, you're going to have to, of course, use some random number generators. We're going to have to use some if statements. Uh, can be nested, can be compound for this project. So let's start with what you have to do. So first off, you're going to need a random number generator for two different numbers. So two numbers, and that's going to be 0 through 9 for both of those. You'll need a third random number generator, which is going to be 0, 1, or 2. Now we've talked about effectively how random number generators work. If you remember like anything we've covered thus far, uh, there's a random number generator. Times 10 gets me 0 to 9. If I were to say percentage 3, that would get me 0, 1, 2. That would be your example of what you have to do for that. Now, I have three random numbers that are getting picked at the beginning before anything happens. Now, the 0, 1, and 2 will describe basically, or will set whether it's going to be addition, subtraction, or multiplication. So here's what you have to do. Let's just assume 5 and 5 are chosen as the first two randoms. The program will then pick which of these operations it needs to do, addition, subtraction, multiplication. Let's say it chooses 0. Well, what's going to print on the screen is that random number, the plus sign, and then this random number. It's just going to show that in text, in quotes on the screen. And you can do that just simply by printing and kind of piecing it together. You'll need a couple of if statements for that, perhaps. There's at least a couple of different ways you can kind of do that. If you want just a real quick, rough example, you can just see out, and of course, I would put a variable here. So in this case, it would be like guess. I already have one in this psychic guessing game here. So, and then I want to do like a plus sign, right? And then of course, we got secret in this case. And then maybe I would do another little output thing and probably put a little question mark or something there. Something along the lines of that. I might even want an end line at the end of this. So this whole thing ends, or /n if you don't want to put everything on the same line. But this is roughly, let's take a quick look at what you have to do there. It's going to ask me for my secret numbers and all that. Well, let's just go with 7. Ah, you guessed correctly. Now, notice it said 7 plus 7, question mark. There we go. Now, of course, this is going to be different, that plus, and that could be a variable too if you wanted it to be. Or you can just have some if statements set up to display the plus. The multiplication, by the way, is the star. Is my number lock line on? Let me see here. Oh, that's weird. Let's see. I am hitting that key. Well, then we'll do it this way. The star. Or, if we want the subtraction, of course, it's the dash. Don't bother with division. We just want the others. So that kind of gives you an idea what you got to do there. So that's for this particular part here. You'll print that on the screen. Then you have to ask the user what the answer is. Now here's where you're going to have to do a little bit of compounding or nesting. Everything else before this really doesn't require more than just a regular basic if, because we're just checking kind of this one if here. But now we have to check, first off, which of these operations were picked, because if it's 0, I have to check if what they typed in is equal to the addition of these two, in case that. Of course, if 1 was chosen, I have to check to see if what they typed in is equal to that. And if 2 is chosen, I have to check to see if what they typed in is equal to that. Now, what people will often do, and one common mistake here, is they will say, well, if whatever they typed in equals 5 plus 5, or what they typed in equals 5 minus 5, or what they typed in equals 5 times 5. The problem with doing that is, let's say it's 5 times 5, and that's the answer is 25, right? If I type in 0, it'll still say it's correct if you do that, because it matches one of those solutions. So you have to make sure if you're comparing this, you also have to make sure that that was 0 that was chosen for this operation. So if what they typed in is equal to that and the operation is 0, then they got it right. Otherwise, they got it wrong. So you're going to need to kind of consider a couple of things. You could nest that. Compound, I honestly think, is a little easier for this. But there's your basic interaction, what's going to happen. Now, the user will type it in, and it will tell them if they got it right or wrong. So what an example output would look like is this. What is 4 times 3? It gave me a random number. That star indicates that it picked 2 on this random number. I type in 12. I'm correct. I got a cookie. If I typed in 2, it would tell me you're wrong because I got it wrong. Now, if I typed in 7, it should still tell me that it's wrong. And of course, if I, got 1 or whatever, it should tell me again that I'm wrong. It has to be just that one answer there. So that's the rundown of what to do in this project. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know, and I'll do my best to kind of help you out.